Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the resources that I rely on. Now, when you're doing 3D, one of the things that you're going to need big time are textures, no matter how you slice it. If you make a log cabin and you don't happen to have a log cabin in your neighborhood or wood or anything like that, well, where are you going to get that texture from? You're going to have to find a resource like CG Textures, which is free. It is free, folks, so there's no reason why you shouldn't take advantage of it. And the library of textures here is insane. There's animals, bones, brick, I mean, all kinds of stuff. I typically rely on things like the rock category. As you see here, there's tons of stuff in here. There's grassy, there's formations of rock that makes, really, really nice textures for you. And you can just, manipulate these in Photoshop if you need to. If you want to work on a castle wall, for example, you can choose all kinds of cool stuff in here. All right, I rely on these guys quite a bit to do just that. Like I said before, castle walls, turrets, all kinds of beautiful stuff in here. Now, if you don't have a free membership, you'll be restricted to the size that you can initially download, as you see here. So if I want to download this 4500 by 953 texture, I have to log in first. Uh, if you don't do it, you can just grab one of the smaller ones, okay? So definitely take advantage of cgtextures.com. Another resource for textures that I rely heavily on is Mayang's free textures. All right, so there's tons of stuff here as well. You might be wondering, well, why would you need more than one texture site? Because these guys are going to have a whole different bunch of images to choose from. All right, now they give you a choice on this website. If you feel like buying every single texture they have, you can do that instead of, just doing a little bit at a time. I just go with the free version, man. So that's just how I roll. But I don't, use these all the time. I do rely on these two, but like I said in the earlier lesson, I use my digital camera and I go on trips. I just go and take a bunch of photographs, and I have my own library that I rely on. So something else I want to talk about that's pretty important, especially if you're going to use a camera in your workflow like I do. If you're going to have a digital camera, well, you have to think, how are you going to get those pictures on your computer? And there's a couple of ways you could do it. You can email those pictures to yourself. And in the case of the Galaxy Note and some of the other high-end cameras, those pictures can wind up being rather large in size. So I rely on things like Dropbox. I simply upload those pictures to Dropbox, and I can just download them to my computer at my leisure. Now, if you haven't heard of Dropbox, if you're one of those 2 people left that haven't heard of Dropbox, it's free. They, of course, do have premium accounts, and that's how a lot of these companies work these days. Server space doesn't cost that much anymore. So if you need a couple of gigabytes, like 2 gigabytes free, I think they offer that for no problem. If you need more, you can pay for it. But I've gotten by fine on the 2 gigabyte free one. I upload, manuscripts that I'm working on for books and just, images, all kinds of textures and that kind of stuff. And I can access this Dropbox account from my tablet, my phone, my computer, anywhere. It doesn't matter. You just go to Dropbox.com or your device of choice, and you can sign in to access your files and view them. You can even put PDFs up there if you want to read your work documents and that kind of stuff. So this is a really great free resource you want to look at as well.